Hi there, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. Well, winter is nearly upon us, the weather is getting colder and the nights are drawing in. So what better time than to sit near the fireplace and watch a film made in the sun-drenched Ibiza of the 1980s. Yes, we're looking at another film made by Mr GBH himself, Cliff Twemlow, and 1984's The Ibiza Connection. How's this for a meta concept? The Ibiza Connection is a low-budget film shot in Ibiza about a bunch of people trying to make a low-budget film in Ibiza and not really being able to get it together. The auteur and driving force behind this film, writer, producer and actor Cliff Twemlow, plays Wolf Svensson, a bad-tempered film director who is attempting to make a film called Thunderflash and who we first meet while he's having a particularly bad day in the director's chair. In a moment of on-set disruption that the likes of Oliver Reed and Klaus Kinski would be proud of, Wolf tears off his shirt, beats up two cast members, calls his leading man an idiot, and insists on taking over the stunt work on the film. In the midst of this display of machismo, Twemlow delivers possibly the greatest piece of dialogue he ever wrote.
When a man fights for his woman, he's filled with power. Then he strikes hard, fast.
With the film in a state of disarray and his leading man having walked off in a huff, Wolf turns to his childhood friend Gino Verardi, an Italian-American gangster who agrees to provide extra funding for the film, but only if his wife Jane can play the female lead. This causes further problems, for not only does Jane want to rewrite the script of the film, she also wants to cast a young DJ called Brett, who has caught her eye, as her new leading man. The fact that Jane and Wolf also have a past causes jealousy in Gino, who quickly begins to see the making of the film as an excuse to kill off both Brett and Wolf in an on-set accident. So, with a leading man who is a DJ who can't actually act, and he's also having an affair with his leading lady, whose husband is trying to kill off the film's director and its leading man, a good on-set atmosphere this does not make for, and clearly it's all going to end in tears, folks.
Baby, come on.
Get your hands off of me!
The Ibiza Connection does represent a change of pace from the Twemlow movies that came before it. This is definitely a far more laid-back affair, and possibly the nearest Twemlow ever came to making a straight drama. If truth be told, the film is more of a tragedy and a character piece than anything else. Would you believe it's nearly half an hour before we even get to our first real punch-up in the film? It's as if Twemlow and co felt they'd already proven their ability to make non-stop action films on low budgets, and he wanted to see if they could really cut it when it came to acting, dialogue and more complex storylines and characters. What's chiefly noticeable about the Ibiza Connection compared to his other movies is the ambiguous nature of the characters. Whereas in his other films, characters are always clearly defined as good guys or bad guys, these waters are far more murky in the Ibiza Connection. Even after watching this film several times over, I'm still a little in the dark as to whether Mr. Wolf is meant to be the good guy or the villain of the piece. He seems to hover someplace in between, in a way that will be uncomfortable for some viewers. While much of the drama in this film rests on whether Wolf will complete the film, get the girl and avoid death at the hands of his investors, this is also a character who is a heavy drinking egomaniac and clearly a misogynist, who at one point throws Jane into a pool for a laugh, savagely beats up his girlfriend and nearly drowns her in a pool in a hate-filled rage.
Don't ever show me up again, woman, or I'll kill you.
Not again, Wolf!
So you'd be forgiven for being puzzled as to whether you really want to root for a character like that. That popular expression toxic masculinity tends to come to mind when describing Wolf. Twemlow's two post-GBH films are curious affairs in that respect, and while GBH was all about building him up as an action movie star and something of a local folk hero, he followed that with Target Eve Island, a film he clearly had a strong creative input in, but chose to only play a minor acting role in. While Twemlow returns to leading man status here, he curiously chooses to cast himself as the type of guy everyone thinks of as a bullying asshole, but nobody dares ever call him that to his face. A common misconception about Twemlow movies, usually put forth by people who have only ever seen GBH, is that all of these films are Mancunian-centric and rarely venture outside of Manchester settings, whereas in reality, Twemlow and his crew seem eager to use their filmmaking adventures as an excuse to travel further afield. Their previous film, Target Eve Island, was filmed in Grenada, and of course here we find ourselves in sunny Ibiza. The Ibiza Connection turns out to be as much of a love letter to its location as GBH was to Twemlow's hometown, with Twemlow himself taking to the mic in order to sing the place's praises in the film's heartfelt theme song. Ironically, the Ibiza Connection romanticises an Ibiza that few people today would even recognise. Remember, this is early 1980s Ibiza, predated reputations in 18s to 30s holiday clubland, and while today you'd expect any film with the word Ibiza in the title to have a hedonistic clubbing backdrop to it, the Ibiza of the Ibiza Connection is surprisingly sedate, and it's downright odd at times to see characters wandering about deserted Ibiza streets and referring to the place as such a sleepy little town. While you can see the beginnings of Ibiza caught in the British tourist trade here, the overall portrayal of the place in this film is like a mixture of Greece and Monte Carlo, an undiscovered peaceful playground only known to movie stars and the very rich. Speaking of movie stars, the Ibiza Connection represents a first for a Twemlow film, in that it features a relatively well-known actress in Fiona Fullerton, who soon after would become even more famous for appearing in the James Bond film A View to a Kill, which was released a year later. There are rumours that Fullerton has subsequently disowned the Ibiza Connection, which seems to be confirmed by the fact that her name appears nowhere in the opening credits of the film, despite her playing the female lead Jane. Saying that, she does currently list the film among her acting credits on her website, and even includes a still from the film there. So maybe she has thawed to the subject of the Ibiza Connection these days. For my money though, the standout star of the Ibiza Connection isn't Fiona Fullerton or even Cliff Twemlow, but John Barry, who plays Phoebus, an outrageous gay character with a wardrobe straight out of Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo, and who is more camp than a row of pink tents full of male hairdressers doing extremely camp things. Phoebus is meant to be Gino's right-hand man who is in Ibiza to keep an eye on Jane and Wolf in the film production, but he quickly drifts into the role of Wolf's unwanted comedy sidekick.
Oh yeah, and we need more females.
And males.
We'll play one form of action against the other.
What kind of action?
No, you're kind, sweetie.
You know, sometimes you can be a bitch.
Some have accused this film of homophobia and pandering to outdated gay stereotypes, and while it's true that Phoebus initially seems to be here to be the butt of jokes and put-downs, the Mancunian accents of the cast frequently making the character sound like he's called Frida, I would actually argue that there's tremendous warmth and affection here, not only for the character but for the person who plays him. John Barry shows up in several Twemlow films, and like Twemlow had a background at Peter Stringfellow's Millionaire Club, and he's a kind of larger-than-life character that Twemlow was fond of casting in these films, as only slightly exaggerated versions of themselves. Phoebus is by far my favourite character in the Ibiza Connection, and I don't detect any malice towards the character by the filmmakers. In a film full of anguished, miserable, straight characters, Phoebus is, in comparison, a fun-loving explosion of rainbow colours, who even grumpy old Wolf comes to regard with an amused, affectionate tolerance. Wolf even steps in at one point when Phoebus is nearly gay bashed by a bunch of locals, preventing them from committing Phoebus bodily harm. There's also clearly a point in this film where it looks as if Phoebus was meant to be killed off by drowning, but the film just can't seem to bring itself to lose him, and thus Phoebus makes a miraculous recovery from a watery grave, and collapses straight into the lap of a confused straight guy. So the film doesn't even avoid the old cliche of building up a likeable gay character and then tragically killing him off before the end. And thus Phoebus lives to mince about another day.
Yoo-hoo, Mr. Wolfie.
Phoebus does tend to lighten the mood a lot here, and the film is also livened up by glimpses into Thunder Flash, the film Wolf is trying to make, which includes an Ed Wood type moment in which a boat exploding is depicted by what's obviously a toy boat being blown up. Presumably not even Gino's budget would allow them to blow up a real boat here. Deliberately schlocky as it's meant to be, the scenes from Thunder Flash with Twemlow, Brett and Fiona Fullerton running about an island with machine guns, fighting ninjas, firing off rockets from a high-tech car and battling some kind of cyborg do look tremendously entertaining and makes you regret that they didn't actually make a real film out of this.
They were the ones, so am I. Keep acting. Come on.
The Ibiza Connection might be the most difficult of all the Twemlow films, and the one you have to work the hardest to get anything out of. Go in there expecting another fun-time, action-packed GBH or Target Eve Island, and you'll be met by a film that stubbornly refuses to be that sort of film. The fact that the Ibiza Connection has also only ever surfaced in appalling quality VHS copies does make it a film best approached by people who have already started exploring Twemlow's films, rather than anyone's first time dipping of the toe into all things Twemlow. True to its main character, this is a film that will alienate many. Still, I do find myself returning to it and finding it a bit more rewarding every time I do. There is much to intrigue and even admire here over Twemlow's refusal to just go the easy route and make another enjoyable low-budget action movie, in favour of a more troubling character-based affair, as well as the sabotage of his own good guy GBH image in favour of playing a highly unlikable character, and this film's insistence on constantly buzzing around this irritable, misogynistic, self-destructing character. As with all the other British B-movies which set themselves within the world of British B-movies, from Michael J. Murphy's Bloodstream to Eskimo Nell and the S-Girls, and going right back to Cover Girl Killer, there is a constant guessing game here with the audience about how much of the fictitious world of the Ibiza Connection had in fact. Its world of dodgy investors, temperamental actors, big egos, short fuses and backhanded deals inevitably invite speculation as to whether Twemlow himself had to swim with similar sharks in order to realise his filmmaking dreams. Whatever the case, it's a task he did with power, venom, and he struck fast. Well, that pretty much wraps things up for now, so all that remains for me to say is good night and God bless.